Every morning, millions of people stand in front of a mirror and perform a familiar ritual. Powder, foundation, eyeliner, mascara, lipstick. Today, makeup is usually seen as something harmless, a tool for confidence, creativity, and self-expression. But for most of human history, beauty came with a hidden price. Behind the elegant faces painted in royal portraits were poisonous powders, toxic metals, deadly eye drops, and dangerous chemicals. Some cosmetics slowly destroyed the skin they were supposed to improve. Others caused blindness, organ failure, and even death. And the most disturbing part is that many people knew these products were dangerous. They continued using them anyway. The story of makeup did not begin in a modern beauty store. It began thousands of years ago in the temples and palaces of ancient civilizations. In ancient Egypt, both men and women decorated their eyes with dark kohl. The dramatic black lines were more than fashion. They represented status, spirituality, and protection from the harsh desert sun. Egyptian cosmetics were prepared from minerals that were ground into fine powders and stored inside beautifully carved containers. Some of these mixtures may have even helped reduce certain eye infections. But ancient beauty was never completely safe. Kohl could contain galena, a mineral made primarily from lead sulfide. Repeated exposure to lead can damage the nervous system, kidneys, and other organs. The same substance that created the powerful, mysterious Egyptian eye could also introduce poison into the body. In ancient Greece and Rome, pale skin became a symbol of wealth. A dark or tanned complexion suggested that a person worked outside under the sun. A perfectly white face showed that someone was wealthy enough to remain indoors. To achieve this fashionable appearance, women covered their faces with white powders and pastes. One of the most popular ingredients was white lead. It produced an immediate transformation. The skin appeared smooth, pale, and almost marble-like. But the effect came at a terrible cost. Lead-based makeup irritated the skin, caused hair loss, and damaged the teeth. Long-term exposure could lead to headaches, memory problems, paralysis, and organ damage. As the skin became more damaged, women often applied even more makeup to hide the symptoms. The cosmetic created the problem. Then it was sold as the solution. Centuries later, this dangerous cycle became even more extreme. During the Renaissance, wealthy European women wanted skin that looked completely untouched by sunlight. One of the most infamous products was known as Venetian ceruse. It was a thick white cosmetic made with lead. The powder covered scars, spots, and signs of aging. Under candlelight, it could create the appearance of flawless porcelain skin. Queen Elizabeth I of England became famous for her unnaturally pale face, although historians still debate exactly which mixtures she personally used. Regardless of the Queen's own routine, lead-based face cosmetics became strongly associated with aristocratic beauty. The results were devastating. The makeup could crack after hours of wear, creating a mask-like surface. Beneath that mask, the lead irritated and discolored the skin. Eyebrows and hair could fall out. Teeth could be damaged. The user might experience nausea, fatigue, and severe neurological symptoms. Removing the makeup could be dangerous as well. Some cleansing mixtures contained harsh chemicals or even mercury. Women were trapped inside a beauty routine that slowly poisoned them from several directions. But pale skin alone was not enough. A fashionable woman also needed bright, captivating eyes. For centuries, some women used drops from belladonna. The name belladonna comes from Italian words meaning beautiful woman. The drops enlarged the pupils, making the eyes appear dark, emotional, and seductive. The effect was striking. It was also extremely dangerous. Belladonna contains atropine and other toxic compounds. The drops could cause blurred vision, increased heart rate, confusion, and sensitivity to light. Repeated use risked serious eye damage. Beauty was no longer simply painted onto the face. It was changing the way the body physically functioned. By the 19th century, cosmetics were becoming easier to manufacture and advertise. Beauty products were no longer limited to royal courts and wealthy families. Factories could produce powders, creams, and dyes for a rapidly growing consumer market. But regulation was weak. Manufacturers were often free to make extraordinary promises without proving that their products were safe. Some women used complexion products containing arsenic. Arsenic was marketed as a way to remove freckles, pimples, and other imperfections. It promised clear, delicate skin from the inside. Advertisements presented these products as scientific and sophisticated. In reality, arsenic is a powerful poison. Long-term exposure can damage the skin, nervous system, heart, and internal organs. It can also increase the risk of cancer. Yet arsenic beauty products were sold to people who believed they were improving their health. This was one of the most successful tricks in cosmetic history. Poison was presented as medicine. Danger was presented as luxury, and suffering was presented as the necessary cost of becoming beautiful. The 20th century brought electric lights, cinema, photography, and mass advertising. Faces were now seen more clearly than ever before. Cosmetic companies promised modern women the dramatic appearance of movie stars. New mascaras, hair dyes, and eyelash treatments appeared on store shelves. But modern packaging did not always mean modern safety. One of the most horrifying cosmetic disasters occurred in the United States in the 1930s. A product called Lash Lure promised to permanently darken lashes and eyebrows. It contained a chemical dye that could cause severe allergies. After using the product, some women developed painful swelling, blisters, and infections around their eyes. In serious cases, the damage led to blindness. At least one death was associated with the product after a severe reaction and infection. The tragedy became an important example of what could happen when cosmetics were sold without adequate safety testing. At the time, authorities had limited power to remove dangerous beauty products from the market. Public outrage over incidents involving cosmetics and medicines helped create pressure for stronger federal regulation in the United States. But Lash Lure was not the only futuristic beauty danger. During the early 20th century, radioactive materials were sometimes promoted as symbols of energy, health, and scientific progress. Radium appeared in a variety of questionable consumer products. Some cosmetics and beauty treatments used radioactive language or ingredients to suggest that they could restore youth and vitality. To customers of the time, radioactivity sounded modern and powerful. The long-term dangers were not yet fully understood by the public. Radiation exposure can damage tissue and DNA. It can increase the risk of cancer and cause severe health problems that may not appear until years later.
Once again, the beauty industry had taken something dangerous and wrapped it in the language of science. And even when cosmetics did not contain lead, arsenic, or radioactive materials, they could still be contaminated. Early mascaras were sometimes made home from mixtures of soot, wax, soap, or petroleum-based substances. Shared applicators and poorly preserved products could spread bacteria. Eye infections were common, and without modern antibiotics, a small infection could become a serious medical emergency. Lip products had their own dark history. Before synthetic pigments became common, red colors could be produced from minerals, plants, or crushed insects. Some pigments were harmless. Others could contain toxic metals or impurities. The desire for a perfect red mouth